How's it going? Wooden Spoon Supercoach here. Teams lists are out for round one. So let's get straight into it. I haven't looked at all. I'll try and get through this relatively quickly because there's going to be a fair few names to go through. Straight away, I'm seeing Shibasaki. That's really good to see. Toya's in there with Nawaka Nitawasi, which we expected. Roosters looking about right there. And Shibasaki, Jesse Arthurs, two very Supercoach relevant options there. That's really good to see. I think I'm pretty happy with my center wing cheapies, so I might not get Shibasaki in, but with a name like that, it would just be... I can't wait to hear a commentator. I want him to make a break and a commentator go, Shibasaki! It'll be fucking epic. Anyway, on that fucking tangent, Lindsay Collins, Connor Watson, Nafai White, Angus Crichton, Victor Radley, Nat Butcher. Pretty standard there. However, Zach Docker-Clay and Blake Steep, this interchange is quite interesting. I feel like Docker-Clay and Foketi and Steep to an extent, I wasn't expecting any of them to get named, but I haven't really... But we know that the Roosters' depth is being tested, so I suppose it's expected in that sense. Piakora's made it back onto the bench. And Gashevsky is in as well. So, who does that leave out? If it comes to me, I'll tell you. But Piakora, I mentioned in a previous video that he has potential to be a cheapie pod, because he was a cheapie last year. It burned everyone, so a lot of people are not going to want to go back, even if it's a good option, kind of like me with Reid Marnie. But you do need to be able to recognize that a previous mistake isn't necessarily going to translate into a future mistake. Getting too egocentric is a great way to push your way down the rankings, as silly as that sounds. I'm not even going to bother looking at the reserves, because I don't care. Heath Mason in at fullback for the Tigers. That's pretty cool. I love watching him play. Adam Dewey in at the centres. So that's quite relevant. Luai and Galvin in the respective positions. Ponga, Schiller, Gagai, Best, Marzu, Fletcher Sharp, Cogger. Holy fuck! We have the same halves pairing for the Knights. Buy a fucking lotto ticket. Got a bit of energy this Arvo. Terrell May, obviously. Talon... Oh yeah, Appy is suspended for round one, so De Silva gets a go. Do not fall into that trap. No matter how good he does, Appy will be back next week. He is not the kind of player to get dropped. Alex Seyfarth, people are very high on. Finu, also a good option. Seyfarth's one I'll look at myself, but again, I don't want to go too Tigers heavy because they are wooden spooners. Tristan Hope, I don't know who that is. He could be a cheapie. Royce Hunt, giving off trap vibes as well. That is a growing opinion in the Supercoach community. I think people are cooling off on him. Jack Bird's similar. But I think he has a lot better job security than Royce Hunt playing... Wasn't he meant to play lock? Anyway. Saifidi, Crossland, Leo Thompson, Dylan Lucas, Kuipers, Paul Tyson, Frizzell. That's all pretty to be expected. Jaden Braley on the bench with Hetherington, Brody Jones, Matt Croker. Who's playing 9? Crossland, of course. I really like Crossland as an option. It depends on the minute split with Braley on the bench. But from memory, Crossland is around the 300k mark. So another cheapie pod. Generally, cheapie pods are a lot more risky than just regular pods. Because if they shit the bed, you're missing out on cash gen and points. Whereas a lot of the high-owned cheapies, if they go bad, it doesn't really matter. Like Sandon, for example, if he shits the bed, that is 60% of people who he's going to shit the bed for. And it'd be nice to be in that 40%, but it's quite a risk. And I actually don't have Sandon. And I'm shitting myself about it, because if it goes wrong, it's going to go very wrong. Moving on. Dolphins Rabbitohs. Hammer at fullback. Asako, Avarillo, Farmworth, Junior Tupou, Cody Nikorima, Isaiah Katoa. No surprises there. Jai Gray at fullback. It's cool seeing these second string fullbacks get a run, because fuck, they're good. But we're just so blessed with these amazing fullbacks at the moment. So they'll work their way up eventually, I hope, because Jai Gray and Heath Mason both are ticker machines. I rate them both. Anyway, Isaiah Tass on the wing, not that keen. Jack Whiten, not that keen. Campbell Graham? Didn't he? Okay, I guess he's back for round one. Also don't like it, especially with Latrell Mitchell gone. Maybe he'll lift because of Latrell's absence. He is that kind of a player. He is a leader. But he has been out of the game for a while, so I'm not sold on it. I need to see it. I'll revisit that on price changes, but I don't think I'm going there. Jamie Humphries that's an interesting one. In a previous video, I said that it's with the news of Latrell and Cameron Murray, it's time to fade all attacking stat reliant players from the Rabbitohs, with Cody Walker maybe being an exception. And I think Humphries might be an exception too, because granted, we saw Luke Metcalf kill it in the trials and then shit the bed the next week, so maybe don't get too excited on him. But yeah, keep an eye on Humphries. I like him. Sean Keppie, Marmazelis, who a lot of people are going to have. I don't know, it's just not sexy. I'm not going with it. I'll take my Owen Paddy and my Corey Pace. For the record, I don't recommend taking Owen Paddy. I just love him and I'm having a bit of fun. That's it. And I don't give a shit about hooker. I'll have him as enough if it comes to it. I don't recommend it though. Keon Clomatungi, huge option in Cameron Murray's absence. He's got try scoring upside. He's going to play a lot of minutes. And I've completely forgotten about him. So I might have to try and work him in. But I am very forward heavy in my own team. Jai Arrow's made it in, which apparently was surprising. I don't know if he was battling an injury or something. Lachlan Hubner is a cheapy option. Starting as well, so I quite like that. Saifidi, Marshall King, Felice Kafusi, Fene Fuiaki, Max Plath, Tom Gilbert. These two probably being the main options here, Max Plath and Fene Fuiaki. Max Plath, I've been quite vocal about how last year he was really good, but not priced at being really good. This year, he is priced at how good he is. So, if you're looking for consistent high floor in your player, then go for him. But he's not going to be like he was last year and be that explosion of cash gen or anything like that. So try not to be stuck in the past too much on him. Make sure that you're making that decision based on this year and not last year. Fene Fuiaki is fairly popular. It seems to be on the fade a little bit around the Supercoach community, but I haven't looked into him too much, so I don't really have a strong enough opinion, and same goes with Tom Gilbert, so I'll let you make your own decisions on that. I mean, it's your decision, whatever you do at the end of the day anyway. Donahue, Lemuelu, Nichols, Stone, Tavita Totola, Duncan, Havili, Jaden Sullivan. If anyone is relevant there, I would say it's probably Tallis Duncan in the absence of Murray as well. But we'll have to wait and see what his minutes look like. Next up, we got the Dragons and the Bulldogs. This is going to be a corker of a game, I reckon. I don't know. I feel like these teams at the moment are very, I want to say evenly matched, but it's like the Dragons are they've done recruiting and come up a level of expectation, whereas the Bulldogs have kind of come down in expectation a little bit with the second year syndrome. Can they do it again? So I think both teams here are really, really going to play for it. If I had to tip one, I'd probably just go the Dragons because it's a home game for them. I think it's that close. Anyway, Gutho, Feagai, Sully, Holmes, Tuipulotu, Flanagan, Ilias. Shit. See ya, Sione Fainu. It was fun. He's gone. No Fainu. So he got the Tamale treatment, we'll call it. Had a really good one game. Kidding, they haven't had one game. It's not like Tamale at all. But you get what I'm saying. He came in, now he's gone. Doesn't matter that he scored 4 tries. So maybe Shibasaki will be a straight swap for me there, which is convenient. We'll stick on the Dragons before I've noticed that when I go over these teams lists, I look at both the 1 to 7s in the teams. I'll try and stick just going through one team and then the other. I'm new here, alright? Give me a break. Toby Couchman, Damien Cook, Emre Gula, Luciano, Jaden Sewer, Jack DeBellin. Jack DeBellin was good for me last year. Whether his role will change at all, I don't know. He did peter off at the end of the year and got a little bit disappointing. But I guess he had a good start to the year and kind of earned himself a bit of a rest in minutes or whatever. Emre Gula, I don't mind. Let me quickly look up the price of him. Okay, he's 331k. So, there's better options, I think. Hamish Stewart, who the fuck's that? For Tyler Mariner, I like watching him. He's got a little bit of X factor about him. We're not looking at the reserves, because who cares? Connor Tracy, Blake Wilson, Bronson Sherry, Stephen Crichton, Marcelo Montoya, Matt Burton, Toby Sexton. So, pretty much what we expected, obviously, with Carraz's injury. Blake Wilson's come in. What's he priced at? 459k. Absolutely not. No fucking way. Max King. Yeah, I feel like you got better options at the price point, but I don't hate it. Reed Marnie. Fuck him. Nah, he'll probably be one of the more consistent hookers like he was last year, but yeah, I'm still carrying that vendetta, and he'll have to do something pretty special for me to consider putting him in my team after that. Sam Hughes, same as Max King at the price point. They're okay. I personally won't go for them myself. Kikau has a ceiling. I don't mind him as a pod, but I think there are better options even in that kind of pod category as well. Jacob Preston, he's a gun. If he's in your team, I love it. He's not in mine, unfortunately. I didn't have room for him. For him, it was either... Sorry, for me, it was either him or Olakawatu, and I'm a Manly fan, so... Gotta have a little bit of fun with it. I want to watch my boys do well. On the bench, Bailey Hayward, Tupanua, Harry Hayes, Jamin Salmon. Nah. Not too much relevance there. Manly Cowboys. At first, I thought this was going to be a humping of note, but with the Cowboys' performance in the trials, I keep going back to the trials, even though it means nothing. We saw it with Metcalf, like, performances just flip after trials. We can't take too much out of it. Maybe Cowboys win 13+. It's possible. This is the kind of shit that happens in round one. Anyway, Turbo's in, Saab's in, Cola's in, Garrick's in, Hopper Whitey's in! Yes! Oh, so who got dropped? So Tommy Talau has been the one to get the boot, which is probably the decision I would have made, which sucks, because he was so good for us last year, and we always seem to have some injuries, so I'm sure he'll creep his way in. Now, there was some chat about just turning him into a second row forward. Is he down here? No, he'll be in the reserves. He's not even in the reserves. Am I blind? Oh, wow. He's been... Oh, that's rough. Devo. Anyway, Lehigh. He'll be in my team. I think I'll be... The easiest swap will be taking out Skelton for him. And... Yeah, I'm doing it. He'll be a pod too. Paseka, Jazz Tavanga with the start. Takaiaho, Hamole Olakawatu, and the two Trebojeviches. So, Simpkin on the bench. So we got the two... so no Gordon, unfortunately. But realistically, I think that's right. I think Tavanga's got runs on the board. Simpkin, he's a good backup. And Gordon, he'll find his way through. As for Supercoach options, obviously Turbo, obviously Garrick, obviously Lehigh. Cherry Evans for the first four, I don't mind. I was going to do it, but I've veered away. If I don't want to remove Jarrell Skelton, maybe I'll downgrade. I can't. Both my halfbacks have played. Fuck. Oh well. I've derailed that train of thought. We'll move on. Drinkwater, Braden Burns. He's a popular option. Jackson Purdue. Just get both of these guys in your team. They have to do terribly to not make money. Same goes for Tom Duffy. So 3 huge cheapies in that first 7 there. Jordan McLean, Reece Robson, Sam McIntyre. Is he a cheapie? McIntyre is not a cheapie. He's 400k. John Bateman. Look, he's got like the framework of a good option, but just with him not being able to stay at a club without fucking ruffling feathers, I don't see why that would just stop all of a sudden going to the Cowboys. He just doesn't seem to get along with a lot of people, and that's enough for me to not consider him. Nanai and Cotter. If the Cowboys start doing well, we could start considering them, but I definitely need to see it first. Carl Lawton on the bench. He's pretty cheap, but there's better options. Harrison Edwards, Griffin Neem, Cohen Hess, whatever. Moving on. Storm Eels. Pappenhausen's been named. So there were some whispers about him not being good for round 1, but that's all good. Pappenhausen, Warbrick, Jack Howarth, Nick Meaney, Xavier Coates, Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes. That's full strength. That's what we expect. I have also kind of lost faith in Howarth, but it also wouldn't surprise me if he ends up being 600k after a few months. Stefano, obviously in. Good to see him not coming off the bench. Did he come off the bench in the trials, or am I tripping? I might be tripping. Harry Grant, Josh King, Sean Blaw, Eli Katoa, Trent Liero. What interests me there is Sean Blaw starting. I'm pretty sure he is 410k. 554k. Okay, that's a bit more. No, never mind. Interchange, Tyron Wishart. I really hope that he scores low, drops a bunch of cash, and then Munster goes to Origin. We can put him in like last year. That catapulted me so far in the rankings, getting Wishart early and just pulling the trigger on him right away. It was one of my masterclass plays of the year, which were few and far between. So Joe Chan in the reserves. He just always seems to make it there, doesn't he? Onto the Eels. Iongi, Sean Russell, Will Penasini, Zach Lomax, Jake Tungo, Dylan Brown, Ronald Volkman. Ronald Volkman. What is up with Mitchy Moses? Well, that's weird. Moses isn't named, and he's not on the injury list either. So, is that a super fresh injury? Have I just missed a headline? Both are possible. Charlie Geimer's made it on the interchange, so that's a big one. He's in my team. Didn't really get the best look at him, but yeah, he's in my team and he'll stay there. Tuolagi, Tuolagi, I should say. All these surnames trip me up sometimes. He's just an awkward price. Like, I see why people are putting him in, but I've also watched him play at Manly for 1 or 2 years, and he had pockets of good form, but after a while, he was just a bit underwhelming, and that was on the left side, I believe, so he would have been getting fed from the 5'8", but it's different with him on the right. I need to see it. I know that is prime real estate beside Moses, and he will go over for tries, but does Charlie Geimer come in and impress, and they swap roles and then Geimer's the starter? We don't know. That Volkman one's interesting. I'll have to look into that a bit more. Moving on. Oh, that's it. So before lockout on Thursday, I'm going to go through and tier list, I guess, or just rank all the cheapies that have been named, so we have the best chance at picking the right ones and not fucking around with a bunch of trades early in the season. So yeah, this is just a quick look at the teams list, see who we need to immediately take out of our team, who we need to immediately put in. Speaking of, in goes Shibasaki. In goes Shibasaki. Robert Derby wasn't named, so I got mixed up. Who was the guy that got named? Purdue and Burns. Burns isn't a cheapie, is he? Purdue, Paulo, Vallejo. Okay, Burns isn't a cheapie at all. I guess I just hadn't heard his name that much. So we are still down one cheapie in the centres. I'm sure I can find one if I just scroll through the list again, but I'll deal with that in my own time. The cheapie rankings video, I'll get that out before Thursday. Bit of a packed week though, so I can't promise that one. So yeah, that's what we've got for round 1. A few surprises in there, which is nice. It's not just a pick and stick of what we already thought. It never is. Anyway, I'll have that cheapy video out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate yous. Hooroo.